Thanks for joining us here on ARC Salt Lake. I'm Brian Schneid. It's Wednesday, January 21st. On tonight's Utah's Missing, we're looking at a case in Uintah County. We're taking a closer look at the disappearance of Marty Justice. It's been more than 3.5 years. Marty was last seen July 8th, 2022 in Uintah County. He was 52 at the time. He was wearing an ankle monitor with adult probation and parole. The monitor tracked Marty to the Deep Creek area, but no sign of him other than a vehicle there. No contact with family or friends since that day, but I spoke with Marty's sister earlier today.
A typical work day. He was getting ready to go to work up at Deep Creek Ranches, which is north of the LaPointe Cemetery. And he was living with my dad. My dad had cancer, and he wasn't feeling very good. But Marty asked him how he was doing, told him he loved him, and that he would be back that night. And that's the last time a family member got to see him.
What is it about the 8th for you that makes that number, that day, every month, just so tough?
It's a reminder that he's not here. That's the day he went missing, and it was a really emotional day. My dad was really upset, and he had stage 4 cancer, and trying to get the sheriff's department to try to go help look for him. And because, you know, by that evening, people just, something wasn't right. People, you know, knew something wasn't right.
Did they search for him? Did they spend time combing the area looking for him?
Well, they said they had sent an officer out there that night, but they didn't find anything. The next day, however, they did find the vehicle he had been driving. But for us, there was some stuff left in the vehicle that made it really kind of a suspicious circumstance, since there was this guy that had threatened to get rid of him, and he was brazen enough to tell my dad that. So, and the officer was informed of that night. And he did work with my dad that night and try to help my dad. We were also worried he could have been out hiking and been dehydrated or gotten hurt and was needing medical attention. So things were pretty tough at that time because our family had a lot going on at the same time.
We'll get to the search in just a moment. To give you a better idea of where this took place, Uintah County, eastern Utah, north of the town of LaPointe here in the Deep Creek area. Marty's father tried to do what he could to find Marty, despite having stage 4 cancer at the time. The two lived in Vernal together. Marty's father passed away later that year, just months later, in November 2022.
We were all making phone calls. People were going out there looking for him. Then there comes a certain point where you're like, well, if he needed medical attention, we didn't get to him. You know, so it's just, you have so many different scenarios going through your head of what could have happened. And it's all just guesswork. And sometimes it's hard working with people that you don't feel like are really listening. The search and rescue for the tribal also helped me. I reached out to the tribe, and they also did do some searching, you know, on some of the tribal lands and stuff like that. And so I have spoke with BIA and somebody at that time that was with search and rescue for the tribe. I've heard that search and rescue for Uintah County also has worked out there, and the sheriff's department, and that they've got detectives on it now. So I do want to acknowledge what they've done and let them know that we do appreciate what they've done.
I'm sure at this point you just want something about where he went, who he was with, correct?
Right. I mean, it's just like he disappeared into thin air, and I don't believe in space aliens, so I don't think some space alien came and got him. But who knows? But yeah, because, well, and if he's passed away, we would like to let him be at peace, So on the slim chance he's alive, I would just like, tell Marty, reach out to your family. We love you and we miss you. But at this point, most of the people are talking about him in the past tense. That's been a long time to go without hearing from a loved one.
Well, it's gotten to the point for the family. You just heard they just want some sort of closure, not knowing if Marty is still alive or deceased. His sister shared how much time she spent trying to figure out what has happened to her brother.
I did a lot of stuff on my own that was getting really hard. We had people going out there looking for him physically, but I was going around to stores and asking people and showing his picture. There was places I would call if I heard of something, that I could be a possibility, I'm not calling around like that anymore, and I'm not going around talking to the homeless people, asking them questions. It was getting really hard to try to be doing that stuff by myself. So after a while, you just have to put it in God's hands and hope something. I'm sorry.
So back on April 11th of this past year, 2025, Marty's son Jaden wrote a lengthy social media post. It reads, "My father, Marty Justice, has been missing since July 2022. I need help, information, or just anything about him. I just want to know where my dad is. This man has raised me my entire life. He's been the best father, best friend I could ever have. He was always there for me no matter what. I know my dad has had his bad moments, but he has many more good ones than bad. I'm sure a lot of people in this town, Vernal, Utah, know my dad and can share great things about his personality. He would do anything for anyone. He would give up his very last possessions to make others happy, especially his kids, who meant everything to him. And now that he has become a grandpa, his grandkids have become everything to him too. He wanted to be part of every moment of their lives for as long as he could, and he's barely gotten to see any of that, maybe a year. I can tell you right now that he was always there for my daughter and us whenever we needed him. He would take her to chase chickens in the backyard in her stroller on a daily basis. He wouldn't have just gotten up and left, especially abandoning his kids and the granddaughters that brought him so much new joy. Again, I can't explain what I'm going through. I have no idea how to feel about this. I just hope we can get closure or something. I know someone must know more about this. They just have to. Please. Anything would be appreciated." I spoke with a sergeant at the Uintah County Sheriff's Office today who shared some interesting things about this case. It's still very active. The sergeant telling me they've been following up on every lead and every tip, even conducting an interview with someone on this case just within the last few weeks. According to the sheriff's office, Marty texted his girlfriend at the time and told her that he was going to cut off his ankle monitor and that law enforcement would never find him. Again, he was last seen July 8th, 2022. The sheriff's office confirming to me they never found any of Marty's clothing or anything else outside of the vehicle that he was driving. Here are some photos they also shared with me. They also mentioned having spent more than 15,000 hours working this case. Numerous searches in the Deep Creek area involving canines, helicopters, airplanes. You're seeing aerial video from a search here. They filed search warrants for phone records. Those pings hit specific towers, but they weren't much help. The sheriff's office conducted a search for Marty as recent as November 2025. If you have any information on the whereabouts of Marty Justice, reach out to the Uintah County Sheriff's Office, 435-789-2511.